Come on into the room. Be coachable, teachable, trainable, and post your city and state where you are catching today's live information from. Here in week 4, let your brand speak for you from the Brand Master. So on today, Friday, we are discussing that your brand is talking and that you want to make sure it's saying the right thing. So, specifically for today, I need you to understand that every post and every link and every live is sending a message. The question is, are people getting the message that you meant to send? So, because your brand is always speaking, whether you're live or not, the real question is your message intentional? Is it clear? Is it consistent? Right? Or is it scattered, confusing, or unclear? In today's wrap up session for this week, we're going to discuss your content, the captions, the presence across all of your platforms, and to make sure that your brand is saying what you want it to say. The reason you want to do this is so that people know exactly what it is that you do and how to work with you. And at the close of today's sessions, we're going to make an announcement with regards to a free webinar that's being hosted by the Brand Master on next Saturday morning, 10 a.m., May the 3rd, and that you want to be in position to attend that, okay? So stick and stay so that you can get more details about that. So let's jump right into our key points that we're going to cover on today, and that is that your content speaks for you long before you show up, right? And a misaligned message repels the right people. Of course, you don't want to do that, but it will also attract the wrong people. And again, of course, you don't want to do that. Every visual, every caption, every video, and every CTA is part of your brand voice. And when you become consistent, you build trust. You guys have heard me harp on that, and it's very important that you understand the impact of that. Intentional consistency creates conversion. And it's time that you align your brand from the top to the bottom. And as I say, from the rooter to the tutor. Okay. So it's the final day of this week, but it's not quite the final week or the final session for this month. We have 2 sessions for next week to wrap up April, but those sessions are also taking us directly into May. So don't miss this information on the day because we're pulling everything together from this month of May, where we've discussed in week 1, 2, 3, and 4 the difference between your brand, the brand voice, your consistency, the trust, letting your brand speak for you, because your brand is already talking. Okay. I really need to, drive this home so that you guys can ask yourself, is my brand saying what I think it's saying? Or is it confusing people? Could it possibly be costing me sales? And is it attracting the wrong audience, right? Because again, your brand is already speaking. We just want to make sure that it is saying the right thing. So let's make sure that we really understand that in your absence, your brand is speaking. In your presence, your brand is speaking, right? But before I jump into all of this, before I go too far down this beautiful rabbit hole for you, I want to share something with you that my online mentor, Arlan Hamilton, made me acutely aware of this week. And it could be the cause of a huge disconnect that I've been missing. Your girl's still learning too, right? You guys need to know what branding does for you more than what branding is. And when you begin to understand what branding does for you more than what branding is, then I feel like that disconnect, that huge disconnect that I may have been missing, will be narrowed, right? You'll be closer together. You'll be closer to connecting. And so let's make sure that when I'm giving you this information, that I'm implementing the importance of, you guys need to understand, more important than anything else, what branding does for you more than what branding is. Okay. So in point 1, let's talk about your brand is more than what you post, right? So when you are actually putting up your bio information, your banner information, your profile picture, and you're pinning your post, all of that tells a story, right? And because it's telling a story, it's connecting with the audience and bringing people to you. So when you're putting your brand and your information out there in the form of your well executed bio, and you're making sure that the banner that you have up, your profile picture that you have up, what that is actually saying to people is telling a story. So the question is, are you telling people who you are or just what you sell? Right? Because people connect to other people that they know, like, and trust. So you should be telling people who you are, as well as in that who of you are, how does it benefit them? People make decisions in seconds. Some of you guys have already dropped off, and some of you guys have chosen to stick and stay because you want to know what exactly your content is saying to people and how you can determine whether or not the content that you're putting out is saying to people what it is that you want it to say. You want to make sure that the content that you're putting out and the information that they are receiving makes sense, okay? Dr. Myron, his daughter made a reference or a quote to him, and I'm not going to quote it exactly what she said, but it did make sense. You may be communicating one thing, but what you're communicating honestly doesn't matter. The most important part of communication is what the recipient understood. Because if the recipient understood something different than what you actually meant or said, then communication did not connect. It didn't land. And so when you're putting out your bio and your profile information and you're telling your story, how would you know, if you didn't ask the question, whether or not what was heard is what you meant to say? I'm going to let that land. If what was heard by your audience is what you meant to say. So in point two of brand clarity, it starts with a message that is aligned. When you actually think about it, you want to ask, is your story, your solution, your call to action consistent across all your platforms? So you have to go and look at your information and your solution from the point of view or vantage point of the person who's receiving it. And you have to figure out how to do that without your own mind blocking your way. So when you take the idea and the information that I give you guys to go out and create all the different collaterals that are a part of your brand, you must be able to look at what you put out and be able to say, is this third grade recipient? Is this fourth grade recipient? Is this knowledge that I'm putting out able to be received and understood on the very minimal level of understanding of a third grader or a fifth grader? And you have to be able to look at it not from your vantage point, but from the vantage point of the recipient. And not just any recipient, your ideal recipient, okay? You have to be able to say, would a stranger instantly know who I help and how? By me putting this post out, is it clear enough for the person reading it to know who I help and how? If it's not, then it's time for a mini brand audit. It's time for you to take a hard look at the information that you're putting out. So if you see this post come up, and one of the comments that has been left for me here on YouTube is, I like the bold lettering of which you post with, because it instantly gives me an option to stop quickly, read and understand, and know whether or not it's something I'm interested in. So the first thing you see, even though when you glance at this thumbnail, you see the red first. Second, you see your brand is talking. That's quick. That's easy for me to read. Now my mind is going, what is it saying? And then the second subset of text says, make sure it's saying the right thing. That's going to pique a little bit of curiosity, making you want to hop on and hear more to understand, how does this apply to me? Because of course, this must mean my brand is talking. How would I make sure it's saying the right thing? All right. So in point three, when you run a quick brand clarity audit, When you take the time to go through Follow Through Friday over the course of this weekend and you pay attention, you want to first make sure that your bio is one of the first things that you look at, right? Just because it's in some platforms, it's very small. It's a minimal body of information. And so you want to make sure that you're really targeted in what it is that you're trying to say in that small body of information. So if you're looking at it, let me see if I can get this pulled up on my end and get over to what has the least amount of information. I think TikTok has the least amount of information space available that you can type into. And let's see if I can get that on to the screen here for you guys to see specifically what I'm saying. So here, when you guys are looking at anybody's TikTok page, there is such a minimal amount of space that you have available, right? You have just this area of text. So when you're looking at my TikTok page and you're looking at the bio that it allows for us, Brand Master helping you get your assets in order at levelup.martinabrityelverton.com. That has to be clear enough for the individual who is looking at it to be able to see and say, do I know who this person is? Yes, my name is right there. The next question they're asking is, do I know who or how they help? Is it clear? Is it niche enough for me to understand? And is it value driven? You have to be able to understand that quick, fast, in a hurry, right? When it's time or when you're thinking about the actual time frame that it takes for a person to look at it and either click away. The next one you want to look at, and I'm showing you this in the bio area, is Brand Master. Always be marketing you, goal, brand you, educate you, and help you get your assets in order. Go to girl, 9 times published, and then it goes more into what it is that I do. But the question again, is it niche enough? Is it quick? Is it clear? Do you know who I am and what it is that I do? From that short bit of information. Okay. If you go and look at maybe even a LinkedIn page, you have a little bit more information available there. Certified business coach, branding professional, helping entrepreneurs to visualize, organize a simplified brand that attracts and serves their ideal qualified customer or client. Yes, from that, you know who I am and how I help. Right? And then there's a link available for you to join the free Brand You community. The same thing is available on Instagram. It's the Dollar Deals membership. The same thing is available on TikTok, and it's Level Up. But in all of these, you see the same thing, my name. So you know who I help, how I serve them, and this helps you understand my niche goal, and that's to help you get your assets in order, right? That is niche enough for you to understand, again, what it is that I am endeavoring to help you to do. All right. So also in that point 3, you want to go in and actually do a brand audit. Let's check the last 6 posts or so to see, do they all reflect your core message and whatever this current offer that you're focused on is. So if you take the opportunity to go back and view the last 6 posts, here in each of these, I'm telling you, and you guys know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can I count? Yes. So in all of these, obviously, because there are reels that are coming directly from my live post for that day, yes, those are going to land. They do reflect what I'm asking them to reflect. So if we're looking at the last post, these are the last 6 posts here directly from my reels. Again, same thing. If you go and look, I think the next one I had here was the LinkedIn. If you go through the LinkedIn page, same thing. And you go down to the most recent featured or the most recent post. All right. Same thing. The last 6 is what you're focused on. And as you see, it is the same exact content repeated across multiple platforms. So yes, we are remaining consistent. Even if you go over to the live channel, of course, our most recent post here as well are the same. So let's refresh that and see if we can get some new deets on that. And we're looking at 204, 43, 68, 925, 96, 598. Same exact content from at least the last 6 or so posts, even the last few lives. Okay. Consistent. You know without a shadow of a doubt what specifically it is that the message is. Consistent, the last 6 posts. All right. Also, when you go through looking at any linked pages or funnels, do they match your message so that people can move forward from one platform to the next platform? So let's look at anything that we have linked to match that up. So, yes, when you're coming in here, when you're going to the link that is available, it's going to bring you here to the messaging. When you're looking at any of the links that are available in the messaging that I have here, and I tell you to look down in the comment below, and you go down to the comment below, this is going to bring you to the YouTube channel. But even more in that, it's going to take you over to the Learn, Lead, and Level Up community. That's going to bring you directly into the community here. Does the messaging match once you get to the landing place? Yes, the messaging is still the same. Again, giving you all of that content here just on the main discussion panel. The messaging continues to match. Okay, guys? So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And this is one of the ways that you can go through and do a mini audit of your account over the weekend. And finally, in point 4, when your content is aligned, and you stop overthinking every post, this is when brand consistency can create content and confidence. Your audience begins to trust your voice and look for your content. This is how you create momentum and magnetic visibility, right? You have to be able to stay consistent long enough for what you are working to work. All right. So let's get into some objections and some reframing before we close out on today. One of the objections that I hate that I continue to hear is that I don't know what my brand is saying. I it's kind of hard when I get that question, or when I get that comment or I get that objection. I don't understand how that's possible, because if you've gone through your messaging, if you've gone through your message alignment, if you've done your brand inventory, if you've done your visibility checklist, if you've gone through and done your trust building exercises, then you know what your brand is saying. But if for some crazy reason you do still feel like you don't know what your brand is saying, that's why having a quick audit is paramount. It's powerful because it will help you see what your content has been doing behind the scenes in the minds of other people. If you aren't aligned across the last 6 posts, if your bio is not similar, if not exact, on every single different social media platform, then it's time for you to make some adjustments before you move forward, right? You may be thinking, adjust all those platforms. Well, I haven't had time to update everything. Okay, well, you don't need to overhaul it all. You need to focus on what people see first. And that's the bio, whatever offer you have in that link or that URL, and what the top 3 to 6 main posts are. Okay, so you can't post haphazardly. I know we have times where we're on Facebook and we may see an event that's going on that's misaligned, or we may see a post about a missing individual. It's okay to go ahead and pop that post up to get it into the feed, to get some type of traction, to help the individual promote their event, or maybe even to help that individual go ahead and move forward with getting the word out about a missing individual or whatever. But then you have to go back and you may have to remove it. You can still leave your comment on it. You can still leave your share on it or whatever, as far as privately, but publicly you want to go ahead and remove it as needed if that is your goal to make your messaging stay aligned. Okay, you want to make sure that you focus on the bio, whatever URL or clickable link you have that is your call to action or your offer, and your first 3 to 6 main posts. Keep those consistent, right? The algorithm is paying attention, right? And then you may be thinking also, and finally, I'm scared. I have been saying the wrong thing. Well, that's great. Fine. Time to start saying the right thing. Get clarity on what it is that you're trying to do. Make sure you do a message alignment audit, right? And then with the clarity, now you can make a move forward. Now you can realign, and you can do this in the course of a weekend. You can actually go through, if you have to do a binge watching or follow through Fridays, and start all the way back at the beginning and do your brand inventory activation checklist, and then follow that up with next doing your trust building checklist, following right behind that with your visibility action plan, and then summing all three of those up in your message alignment audit by doing a quick brand audit and making sure that all of your messaging is clear. That's crucially important, and yes, you can do it in a weekend. So now you will be available to start out the following step on your journey, getting yourself aligned for what's next. Well, what's next in May deals with building upon what it is that you know, building and moving forward based on what you currently have in place. Build with what you know, your experience, your position, your authority, what it is you have in place right now, because your experience is more than enough, right? What you've been through, you can build on. It's important that you prepare yourself for that so that you can move forward. And it's more important that you prepare your audience for the direction that you're going in so they can follow you and show up for you, with you, right? And move along the journey with you. So, what I want you guys to do is understand the reason that we want this to happen is because many of you in these internet streets needs to stop following blind leaders. They are putting potholes in your path to prosperity. And that is what we're discussing on the live webinar, May the 3rd. Stop following blind leaders. They're putting potholes in your path to prosperity. We're going to talk about so much information that you guys are out here following that is wrong. We're going to help you understand why you need the blueprint as a self-brander, as a DIY branding individual, setting up and structuring their own brand, where you need to start and how you need to move forward. That's very important for my following to understand. It's very important for you to understand why you need to get these things in place and what it does for you as a DIY brander. Because when you have the right mindset, skill set, and tool set, you are available to move forward, and people will know, like, and trust you enough to follow you, to friend you, to share you, to refer you, to pay you. But if we don't put those pivotal pieces in place now, then you can't move forward with clarity, consistency, conversion, connection, all of that. You can't do those things because all they hear and see is chaos. If you don't understand that your inability to brand yourself is what's clogging up your pipeline, I don't know how else to help you. And so that is what your brand will do for you. It will clear up that pipeline, and it will allow people to follow you with clarity and consistency so that they can connect to you, ultimately, so they can share you with others. Your referability monitor, meter, whatever, needs to be through the roof. They need to clearly be able to say what it is that you do when they refer you. And one of the ways that they can do that is because they work with you. They're getting from you what they need to be able to move the needle in their own business. That is what your brand will do for you. All right. And so as we wrap up on today's call, I, of course, want to ensure that you answer the question that I have for you down in the comments. You know, if you would like to participate here on this line, that you take the opportunity to answer today's question. And that's, what's one area of your brand that you're going to update over this weekend? Is it going to be your bio? Are you going to adjust and repin a different post? Or are you going to make some adjustments to your visuals, your graphics, or something like that? Let me know so I can check it out. I'd love to be able to share your content with others. All right. So on today, we will have the room open for you guys to join us In after office hours, you can go again to learnleadandlevelup.com, community.martinabrityelverton.com. Any of these will take you over into the branding community so that you can ensure that you grab a copy of the mini brand audit checklist, your message alignment checklist. Like I gave you the rundown list before, any of the follow through Fridays so that you can go ahead and take the opportunity to binge watch over the weekend and get your message in order, get your assets in order, get your brand in order, do what you need to do so that you're ready for the month of May and how you and I and we together can make May amazing. Your brand is speaking, whether you realize it or not. If you take the opportunity to do a message alignment check, right, to ensure that the message is moving with clarity, that it's going to be multiplied and visible so that you can attract leads, you need to do that. One audit, one decision, and one alignment. Whew, that's all you need to do to change the trajectory of your current brand direction, right? You want to be able to make that pivot so that you can move forward and walk into your purposed passion, okay? I hope you guys will understand my passion for you. You'll be able to join us in after office hours. And if you are not available, hopefully you'll be able to join us on next Tuesday when we discuss how to build with what you know, because your brand experience and your brand journey and your life is enough. I thank you for your time on today. Definitely look forward to seeing you guys, if not over the course of this weekend, next Tuesday or next week. But more important, I hope you can join us for the free webinar to stop following blind leaders, right? Because they're putting potholes in your path to prosperity. I'll catch you guys in after office hours, or definitely I'll catch you guys over the weekend in the follow through Fridays. But more important, if not, I hope to see you on next week. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, giving you the latest update about our daily Get Your Assets in Order and Brand You series. Join me live each and every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for actionable steps on brand building for beginners, current client revisions, and watch as we level up brands in 2025. We are covering everything from tools, tips, strategies, and systems like Canva, StreamYard, high-level AI automations, and more. These will take you from confused to confident. So after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. If I were you, I wouldn't miss out. Mark your calendars and subscribe now to our YouTube channels. Join our free communities, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up as a struggling entrepreneur, we have the solution, the systems, and the experts. Our entire team is live each and every weekday at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can lunch and learn. If you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you know you need to do to get your assets in order.